Hi everyone. Hello everyone. So I'm in the midst of traveling here. Wanted to do this live while I'm at it. I hope people can hear me, though I can't say whether or not you will be able to hear me. If you can hear me, let me know. Just be like, hey Papa, we can hear you. I tried to add a little filter to make it, a little nicer for you in the background here, but it just don't seem to be working for me. So that's the thing. Awesome. Hi Angelica. Hi Mambo Sandy. Hope you guys are doing awesome. Hope you're doing really awesome. So, as always, share the video, share if you dare, like, and go ahead and click subscribe if you'd like, right? Subscribe. Yeah. So, basically that, like, follow, share, okay? Yeah, exactly. So, like, follow, share. Here we go. You're going to see me going in and out, a little darkness here because I'm in the midst of traveling. Someone else is driving, which allows me to do this live video. Bendiciones, Miguel. Hope everyone is doing awesome. Hi, Garth. Hope you're doing well. So, it's flooding there. Oh my God. If it's not one thing, it's the other, as my grandmother always say. Si no una es la otra. Thank you, Angelica. So, today's video is called Medicine for One, Poison for Another. Okay. Hi, Miguel. Medicine for one, poison for another. Okay? So, I want to just start this off by telling a little story. When I was younger, and I know I still look young, y'all, but there was a time where I was even younger. When I was younger, right, there was someone who came in and they received a working to open up the roads and to start helping them make money so that they could get more money flowing into their business. And this person was a relatively recent initiate. Okay? So they went ahead and they received the working, which was intended to get them to make money. So months go by, the work works, they're making money, their business is flowing, it's doing really, really well, and they're really happy about it. And I host a spiritual party. So I have a spiritual party, and during the spiritual party, person A, who we're going to call Jenny from the block, Jenny, who I had helped with the spiritual work to help her make money, started talking to Alice. And Alice was dealing with financial problems herself. So Jenny, thinking that she was being helpful, Jenny went ahead and said to her, well, you could do this work. Here, Papa did this work for me, and you can go ahead and do this work. Here, let me give you the instructions on how to do this working so that you could do it so you can get that money. And so Alice being Alice went on and she did that work, right? The next week, Alice got into a really terrible car accident. And during that car accident, she got really messed up. As a result of getting messed up in that car accident, Alice had to learn how to walk again. She had to have metal rods put in her legs and learn how to walk again. And as a result of that car accident, Alice had to have a lawsuit that drug on for about 2 years. And surely enough, after those 2 years, Alice was awarded a really huge lump sum of money. Okay? And she got that big sum of money that Jenny told her she would get if she did the work. And it was absolutely true. She got some big money. Now, had Alice come to me, I would have advised her against it. I would have told her not to do it because there would have been another way and other ways to get her money without her having walking issues or having to go through such a severe car accident, all types of medical treatments, and go through walking issues. And she's still dealing with walking issues to this day. So, that's just one story. I want to give you another little story. I have a godson, right? And this happened to him before I ever knew him. So, before I ever knew him, his aunt ended up in the hospital. And while his aunt was in the hospital suffering from something, one of the nurses accidentally gave his aunt the medicine that belonged to the patient in the next room. So the patient in the next room was to receive insulin, which was not his aunt's current issue or problem. As a result of that insulin shot, his aunt died. Okay? His aunt died as a result of that shot of insulin, which she was never supposed to get. So, for the patient, it would have been the proper medicine. For the person who's not that patient, who doesn't need that medicine, it became the poison. For his aunt, it killed her. For someone who's diabetic who needs insulin, that will save their life. So this is why it's really important to understand that spiritual work is very much like medicine. In many ways, your godparent or, your spiritual mentor or master is very much like a doctor for you. And if you've chosen a good doctor, they're going to know the medicines that you need, what you should take and what you shouldn't take. But that doctor may have many patients. And what he's going to prescribe to some patients, he's not going to prescribe to you. Because that same medicine that he gives to someone else might turn around and kill you. And that same medicine that might work for you might be a death sentence to someone else, or might cause all types of calamity and issues that person doesn't want. There is something, it's a very real thing, okay? And one of my goddaughters, Mambo Sunny, she used to say something like, call people big heads. And I really loved it. Because a lot of times when, especially amongst newer initiates and amongst people who recently have gotten involved in the tradition, they end up with, hi Star, they end up with an illness which I call big head syndrome. A lot of people, when they first get initiated, and a lot of other people, when they first enter any of these traditions, they get the big head syndrome. They think, oh no, I'm not driving, I'm being driven. But thank you, right? They get what we call big head syndrome. And what happens is their ego gets super inflated and they think that they know it all. And this happens, and I've seen it like millions of times. In fact, One time I even suffered from it myself until basically my aunt put my ass in check. Okay? Give me a good slap. But you see, back in the day, spiritual workers would slap you in the face, no problem. Okay? These days, a spiritual worker slap you in the face, you're ready to call the popo. Okay? But those days, you wouldn't do nothing like that. So my aunt gave me a good slap, and that slapped that big head syndrome right out me. Okay? A lot of times, a lot of people get involved in these traditions, and as soon as they're initiated, or as soon as they know like a drop of information, or they just started, they're ready to go correcting everyone else, telling other people what to do, making recommendations, telling people what they should and shouldn't do, even making opinions as to what the godparents should and shouldn't do. Okay? When in reality, they're just a newbie and they're just a new initiate. Because when you get initiated, work is being done on your head. A negative side effect that it can occur if you haven't developed humility and you haven't developed certain things is that you end up with too big a head on your shoulders. And your ego gets super inflated. And people's ego becomes super inflated, thinking that they know way more than what they do. And this is the reason why in my society, as well as my godmother's society, as well as every other properly functioning society that I have ever been to, god brothers and sisters, people who are at ceremonies or at parties, are not there to basically make recommendations or try to quote unquote help other people who are there. All of them are patients. Everyone who is there is a patient to some degree or another. And there may be doctors and nurses in training, but doctors and nurses in training know enough to basically shut their trap and not to say things that they don't know. Okay? So, a lot of times people come to spiritual ceremonies and spiritual rituals, and they spend way too much time trying to be kikiing and kakaing and becoming best friends or good friends and having personal relationships with other patients. And then taking the advisement of other patients. Now, what kind of idiot do you have to be? Excuse the way I put it. And if the shoe fits on you, just wear it, walk it out, and take it off. Okay? But what kind of idiot do you have to be to go to a hospital, go to another patient's room who you met in the waiting room or who you met in the hospital, and ask that person for their medical advice on your situation, and then do that shit? Okay? Then follow through with what some other patient who was in the waiting room with you, who still needs to be treated and is sick themselves, okay? You're going to go take that person's advisement or even listen to anything that they have to say. Okay? You got to be a special kind of stupid. Me personally, I ain't never. All right, you guys. I hope you guys can still hear me, okay? So what kind of special kind of stupid you got to be to go listening to another patient? I ain't never went to no hospital in my life ever where I'm going to go ahead and listen to another patient in the waiting room telling me what I should do about my condition. And it's the same thing when you deal with spiritual things. In fact, when I was growing up, throughout the time I grew up, when societies were still societies, when societies were run by people with proper training and who knew what the hell they were doing, okay, we were specifically told, Your god brothers and sisters, you see them here when you're in ceremony. You see them here when you're at the temple. Outside of the temple, you are not to have personal communications with them. You are not to go befriend them. Why? Because they sick, and they can end up infecting you with that sickness. And if they got big head syndrome, they can go ahead and infect you with big head syndrome. Not everybody knows everything, and not everybody can do everything, contrary to popular bullshit spiritual sayings that people have out here. Contrary to the popular bullshit that people are selling you, contrary to that popular bullshit that you love to eat it up, okay, I done seen people snacking on plates of bullshit recently, okay, contrary to that, the truth is everybody can't do everything. There's some people out here that they cannot read. They cannot do readings. They're just never going to be able to. But they might be the best damn altar setter upper that you ever find. They might be able to build the best altar, and they might put you to shame. Same. There's people out here that they're not spiritual workers, but they're excellent psychics. They're excellent at doing readings. Okay? Their specialty is that. And it takes time to find your specialty in the spiritual work. But let me tell you something. A wise woman, Aunt Nere, my godmother, once said to me, a smart man knows everything he can do. A wise man, okay, knows everything he can't do. Boom. A wise man knows everything he can't do. You might be good. If you know everything you can do, that's good. But the wise man knows everything he can't do. The wise man is smart enough to be like, nope, that's my limit. Nope. Hell no, I ain't touching that. Okay? This popular belief out here is that everybody can do everything because it's going to make you feel better about yourself. Okay? But I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm here to fix your ass. I'm here to cure you. I'm here to heal you. I'm not here to make you feel better. You want to go somewhere and feel better, go somewhere the hell else. Because that's why you ain't better yet. You worrying about feeling better instead of getting better. Okay? Feeling better don't get you better. Okay? Some people, like someone mentioned here, they don't work when someone has a demonic possession. They know their limits. The wise man knows what he can't do. The smart man thinks he can do. The smart man knows what he can do. The wise man knows what he can't do. Okay? The idiot thinks he can do it all. Right? The idiot thinks he can do it all. A lot of people out in these streets, say they want spiritual powers, but they don't want spiritual powers, baby, because they're not ready to sacrifice family, friends, fun, doing whatever the hell you want, whenever the hell you want. Spiritual powers ain't free. And whoever told you they free is bullshitting you. Spiritual powers cost way more than money. Okay? A lot of people out here think that spiritual powers is free. Spiritual powers ain't free. And they cost way more than money. Okay? They cost family, friends, fun, connections. And guess what? You're also going to get as a free bonus with your spiritual powers. You're going to get envious people, hateful people, even sometimes the same people that you help will hate you and be envious of you, jealous of you, and will be ready to stab you in the back if they had the chance. Okay? So, as a free bonus gift with your spiritual powers, okay, you get a whole bunch of hate, envy, and ingratitude. That's just bonuses. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay? There's many more bonuses where that came from. People will give them to you. Okay? And you're going to face discrimination. You're going to face discrimination from family, friends, and others. You're going to face people making assumptions about you. That because you're X or because you're Y automatically means A, B, and C. And then people who don't know their ass from a hole in the ground is going to think that they should know what you should and shouldn't do. Okay? People who ain't seen heaven want to tell you what heaven should be like. Okay? If you ain't never been happy, you can't tell me shit about happiness. Alright? If you ain't never been seriously in the shithole, you can't tell me nothing about being in the shithole. If you ain't been through the fire, you can't tell me about what it feels like. But they will. And these are some of your free bonuses that you get with your spiritual gifts and abilities, with your spiritual powers. Right? I remember one time someone come to me that they wanted spiritual powers like I had. I was like, oh really? Oh really? I asked the Loi. The Loi was like, yeah, you could take what you got and put it on them for a day. The next morning, come at 5 o'clock in the morning, they went ahead and they woke me up. And they said, take that shit back. They were sleeping in my basement. They were sleeping in my basement where I have my temple at. And only after one day, they were like, Papa, take that shit back. I don't want it. I don't want it. Take it back. They woke me up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was sleeping just as good as I could get that sleep, because when you got spiritual powers, you ain't going to be sleeping in all the time, baby. And there's going to be times where you're going to go to bed super late. And you're going to be getting up super early. All right? And they woke me up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get that good sleep in. And they're like, take it back, take it back, take it back. I was like, I kind of got to get convinced now. Shit, I done felt what it's like to be without this stuff for a little bit. I might not want to take it back so quick. Okay? I might want to let you hold on to that for the next few days. Give me a week. Shit, give me a week. Then we'll talk about taking it back. But nah, I took it back. I took it back because the spirit wasn't going to let me leave it there for a week. But I would have. Okay? I would have. Sure would. Okay? They were all upset. And that was just after not even 24 hours. You want what I got, baby? Come to my house. I'll put it on you for a while. I promise you'll want me to take that shit back. I promise you. And you won't last 3 days. I ain't never had no one last 3 days. In less than 3 days, they all wanted taken back. And I'm almost, one day, because I was young then, I was real young then, I was like, ain't no returns, ain't no refunds. And that person started losing their damn mind. Started losing their mind. Because I said I wouldn't take it back. So, that's pretty much all I have to say today. Is, there's something very real that happens in these traditions, in the spiritual work, and it's called big head syndrome. And it's because people think they know what is a drop of water, and they think they know what the ocean is. And so, yeah, guess what? The ocean is made of many drops, but you don't know how powerful that force is until you get busted up by some waves. Knowing a drop of water does not make you the expert of the ocean. Okay? And a lot of people, after getting initiated or just starting these traditions, getting involved, They get this big head syndrome where they think they know it all. They're ready to recommend things. They're ready to did it and did it that and did it. And I even seen some big-headed people even go to the extent of saying they're going to fix the community and they're going to fix all the problems that there have been here in the spiritual communities and in the spiritual realms. Okay? You have to be really egotistical to think that you're going to do that. Okay? You gotta be real egotistical. And that's one of the first things that you need to work on putting in check. Right? And guess what? Many of those people aren't even involved in these spiritualities anymore. I've had my website up since 2002. I done seen more spiritual workers get in this and out of this in the past 19 years. Okay? Hop in, hop out. When you really dealing with the real ones, this ain't the hokey pokey. It ain't jump in, jump out. It ain't so quick. It ain't so easy. If you can jump in, jump out, then maybe you was never in. Okay? But avoid that big head syndrome, because it will mess you up. And sometimes you get involved in other people's mess and they shit, and it fucks your own shit up. Alright? So that's the message of the day. Many blessings. I'm going to keep it popping, keep it moving here. Many blessings to all of you guys. Keep the faith. Go ahead, like, follow, share. Share if you dare. Okay? And if you'd like, you can send us a donation to continue doing more and more of these. Cash App, cash symbol Hector Salva, or via PayPal, help@mysticalwork.com. Many blessings to all of you today and always.